On today's show, we look into the new changes happening on the esports team, and we also look into the new art student whose passion has allowed them to stand out in the art program. And finally, we look at how one athletic trainer uses her experience to help bring out teams farther into the season. These stories and more on this edition of Hilltop News. What's rockin' Rock Nation, and welcome back to another episode of Hilltop News. Live from Studio 1060, I'm Yurem Ramirez.
And I'm Ashley Sallaway.
We have a great show in store for y'all today, but first, Ashley's gonna catch you up on everything going on around the Hill. Ashley?
Thank you, Yurem. Tomorrow, Rock Hill will be hosting Mean Girls Day, so make sure to wear pink. This day is hosted as a way to promote our theater production. All lunches will have a photo booth section and a trivia game that day. This Wednesday, Rock Hill Choir will be hosting their annual fall concert. This event will take place at 6:30 in the auditorium. Also this Wednesday is the last chance for all students to take a portrait for ID cards and yearbooks. Legacy Studios will be in the LGI all day on Wednesday for senior portraits and yearbook portraits for all grade levels. Seniors who need the graduation portraits that include a tux and drape, as well as a cap and gown, need to make an appointment at legacystudios.com. As more high schools are being built, there is a bigger need for a new stadium. According to Executive Athletic Coordinator Valerie Little, what a lot of people don't realize is that it's not going to be built for 5 years. So we will be probably having a high school built before the stadium. The way inflation and costs go, we have calculated the 30% inflation rate for the stadium because we know the cost will be high at that point. While the new stadium is being built by Richland High School, PISD is also planning on building a performing arts center by Rock Hill and Walnut Grove. Due to popular demand, Student Council has added another pep rally to this year's football season. On Friday, October 20th, we'll be having a Halloween-themed pep rally for our varsity football game against McKinney North High School. For more information, check out @BlueHawkStuco on Instagram. If you plan on staying in-state with the idea of STEM as your major, University of North Texas at Dallas recently broke ground on a $100 million STEM facility. This building will be 4 stories, including 20 new classrooms, 9 teaching labs, and 3 research labs. It is expected to open for students in the spring of 2026. If you have any younger siblings under federal child care, be aware of this new funding change. As the end of the fiscal year approaches, funding for the Child Care Stabilization Program will be ending. This could mean that as many as 300,000 children could be left without federal child care. On September 27th, astronaut Frank Rubio returned to Earth after 371 days in space, accidentally breaking an American record. Rubio and 2 Russian astronauts were supposed to return back to Earth on March 28th, but remained in the International Space Station due to spacecraft being damaged by an object. NASA Administrator Bill Nelson states, he embodies the true pioneer spirit that will pave the way for future exploration to the Moon, Mars, and beyond.
The Prosper Esports team this year is going of changes. Austin Reeser looked into their story.
What? GG's. Shake my hand. GG's.
The Prosper Esports team is already back and preparing for a new year of tournament play. However, this year's team composition is looking a little bit different.
So this year we are Prosper Unified, and it is Prosper High School, Rock Hill High School, and Walnut Grove, and I am the coach of all of them. I love it. Everything esports, I'm a big proponent of. I believe it's super important, and it gives kids just an opportunity that a lot of them wouldn't have. So the fact that I get to work with all 3 campuses, I think, is extremely special because I have been at all 3 schools.
Despite this being a significant shift, both new players and old players feel that it's not going to affect how well everyone plays.
My performance compared to the teams would probably be pretty solid, although I don't know how most of them play, since we haven't really come together and play games yet, since it's mostly been just the top 2 teams, which are comprised of really good players.
Obviously you have to meet new people, and then you also have to work together with them, build chemistry with them. So when you're playing the games like that, you can, it works seamlessly and make plays together.
Yep. Oh, I didn't know you were like that.
Even though performance is going well, there's still room for improvement. The team hopes that new highs can be achieved as they get to know each other and play with each other more often.
I couldn't ace.
They will have a very successful year, and we're playing in multiple leagues and in a lot of different tournaments so that they can get a lot of exposure and get play time together. So I think it will be a really good experience and an even better experience about building camaraderie between the campuses.
There is still a lot in the works for the program, including a new shoutcasting room for tournament play. As time moves on, their abilities will increase, as will their team chemistry. For Hilltop News, I'm Austin Reeser.
Even in the first games of their season, they are still taking home wins, managing 3 first-place and 2 third-place wins just this past week. If you would like to see more about the unified Prosper team, check out their Twitter at PISD_esports. Through our art program on campus, junior Caden May has been able to develop their passion for realism sketches. Abdullah Ghaffori has the story.
Caden May has been an artist since they could hold a pencil. Although their skills have grown, they still find inspiration from their furry friends at home.
So honestly, I've loved cats like my whole life. A lot of my art that I did last year in basic drawing was just centered around cats. I still love, for my AP portfolio, I am drawing a bunch of cats.
As Caden developed their artistic abilities in high school, they stood out as a leader and skilled artist in the classroom.
She seems to be completely dedicated to art. Like, she's not just taking art as an extracurricular, it's not just something that she's interested in, it's something that she's passionate about. And I can definitely see that not only in her work ethic, but also just within her own design details when it comes to coming up with an idea for a project.
Caden's artwork is more than just a hobby. Their artwork has provided them with a creative outlet that benefits them as a person.
It's really kind of therapeutic almost. You know, as you get into that process, it's kind of like just going, not necessarily going through the motions, but you get so used to it. It's just like, oh, I do these steps, and I kind of get to turn my brain off a little bit.
And with all the growth Caden has had as an artist, they're open to helping others improve with advice and sharing through AP Art and Intermediate classes. For Hilltop News, I'm Abdullah Ghaffori.
If you are interested in joining the National Art Honor Society, applications are open now and due October 10th. Now that fall temperatures are in the forecast this week, fall golf is starting up. Kareef Khan is in the studio to catch you up on everything Blue Hawk sports. Kareef?
Thank you, Yurem. Last week, our golf teams placed second in the Lovejoy Invitational at Waters Creek. Some strong performances include a new PR for Emma Brown that came for a third-place finish at 76, and Alicia Sitmarang with a fifth-place finish at 77. We saw tennis play last week against Boyd. Our players played hard out there, but unfortunately came home with a tough loss, with Boyd taking the win 7-12. However, we did see some great plays from the match. Arjun Kopredi won his singles match at line 2, scoring 6-2 and 6-3. Sahana Prakash also won her singles match at line 2 and had to go to a third-set tiebreaker and won it 11-9. He was a freshman and beat a senior who had a much higher UTR rating than her. Li Duong and Alejandra Escalante played a great doubles match at line 2 and won in straight sets due to their volleys at the net. Last Friday, volleyball played Geyer. Both teams were close throughout the match, but Geyer taking the win with a score of 3-2. Last Friday, our football teams faced off against Allen with a devastating loss. Allen took the win with a score of 7-12. With the first and second quarter being 0-7 and 7-14, and the third and fourth quarter with 7-28 and 7-42. However, we did see some highlights from our players, with Victor Chianuma hitting a 25-yard carry and receiving a 10-yard pass from Christian Lewis. And lastly, this past Saturday, our varsity water polo team took on Prosper in a match resulting in 19-5. With Prosper taking the win, we've got a packed week ahead of us for sports. Tomorrow, tennis faces off against Geyer, and volleyball has a match against Braswell. On Thursday, our JV tennis team is against Allen, and on Friday, volleyball goes up against Prosper. And lastly, our football team is looking for a comeback next Friday against Little Elm after their bye week. Rock Hill's team is constantly on the move, and they couldn't do it without the support of our team of sports medicine trainers. Ritika Paspalate looks into how one trainer that uses her experience to lead the team farther into the season.
Football players are always taking hits, and to support these players, our sports medicine trainers are constantly on the move to make sure that they're at the top of their game at all times. Lillian Bruce has been a trainer for 4 years and uses her experience to help our team run further into their season.
I think a lot of it is just like being responsible, being here on time, doing what you're asked, and like even if like there's something that hasn't been done, doing it, staying humble about it, and just not being like, well, I did this for you. like, you need to do this for me. I think it's honestly just about supporting each other. And so with leadership, you need to be there for your team, not just mentally, but physically as well.
Being present in the game is essential in caring for our football players. Lillian's extensive experience in sports medicine helps her to be more disciplined in her duties and responsibilities.
You know, I'll holler at her, hey, will you go water the referee? And she just got back in from watering the referee. Or I'll get ready to turn around to the students and tell them there's a timeout. The players are coming off the field and Lily's already 10 steps out on the field, meeting them halfway. So she's been in it long enough. And like I said, her preparation and just her management, she's always 1 or 2 steps ahead. So, I mean, she's been awesome to have this year as a senior. So
Lillian hopes to study sports medicine in the future and leave a legacy on those hoping to join. For Hilltop News, I'm Rithika Pasupli.
With our fall sports now in full effect, our sports medicine crew will continue to support our players throughout their seasons. Well, that's all we have for today's show. For Hilltop News, I'm Kareef Khan.
I'm Ashley Sallaway.
And I'm Yurem Ramirez. Keep rocking, Blue Hawks.